All right, so we are driving around right now, and it's pre-class. This week's class starts with postering. The next Neo Spirit pay-per-view is coming up shortly, December 3rd. Next show. Darkest Days is coming up December 3rd. So if you're interested and you're in the Niagara region, it'll be held at our Fight Club Canada, December 3rd. You can get your tickets there or check out any of the local sponsors. And today we are driving around. Myself, Britt, somewhere in the back there. I feel like I should put my my night vision on here. See what happens. Oh, there she is. And Eric, too. These are poster professionals back here. And our wheelman of the day, none other than Jesse Scott.
What?
You've been postering before, Jess?
Yep.
Yeah?
Absolutely. You know, something that you have to do doesn't stop. Obviously, if you're linked with a school that puts on shows, and you know it's cheap advertising, but also helps you, pay your dues. You know, grassroots effort, and we're all a family. So, the more people we can get out to the shows, the longer the gym sticks around for you.
What we do is here's one of those locations right here, Big B, one of our favorites. It's a specialty of Neo Spirit posters. This is Eric's specialty, Big B's.
Yeah, you got a ticket?
Yeah.
Yep. What he does is he goes in, works his magic, gets them to hang up a poster. So I didn't really, last time when I introduced you on the second week, I didn't really get to fully ask you many questions. It was just a quick one. So today I'd just like to introduce a little bit more about yourself and the school that you run for our viewing audience. We've been getting a lot of questions from them, so we just thought it'd be appropriate.
The vast audience?
Absolutely, yeah.
Right.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions, and I want to have them answered immediately.
Who are you known as in the professional wrestling community, and how long have you been wrestling for?
In the professional wrestling community, for the most part, when I first started out, I was JT Playa for many years, probably about 9 or 10 years, and I just recently changed my name to the Lord of the Bling Tiberius King. I just wanted something a little bit different, just to change it up. When I came up with the name JT Playa, it was years ago, and what was I doing? We just had a match coming up, and the very first match ever. And that's, I just came up with a name because Jay-Z was pretty cool, so I wanted to be JT, like J-A-Y, and then T Playa, but everyone spelled it with a J and then just the letter T. So I don't know, kind of got sick of it after a while, and I just wanted a name that was my own.
That was your first time?
My very first match ever.
Who taught you wrestling?
I learned, originally I was trained by this guy named The Gator, but I wasn't really trained by him. He was a little crazy. He didn't really know what was going on. So I relearned wrestling after I had being taught the first time by Danger Boy Derek Wild. He taught me how to wrestle, and I learned. Obviously, he was my trainer. He's the guy we went in. I think we used to train 3 days a week, and we trained in an old boxing ring. So that was always interesting. But yeah. And then, you learn a lot when you travel. So I learned a whole lot from guys like Eric Young, Showtime, Eric Young in TNA, and you just pick things up from all sorts of guys, and kind of learn as you go. But Danger Boy's my main trainer. He's the guy who broke me into the business. I mean, I had a match already before he trained me, but I really didn't know what was going on.
So for anyone who wants to become a wrestler, what would they have to do in order to accomplish their goals?
In order to accomplish your goals to be a wrestler, you have got to you got to dedicate yourself to it. I mean, it's difficult. It's a difficult thing, especially now. I mean, you have to be in shape. There's no question about it. They're looking for lean. You have to be lean. You have to be in shape. You have to be athletic, and you have to be able to produce day in and day out. The most important thing is get in the gym and get yourself a build, because if you want to go to a bigger level, if you want to make the WWE and make yourself into a superstar and make $1 million, you've got to look good, or else they won't care. It's about marketing, right? I mean, you can wrestle till you're blue in the face. I know a lot of guys who can wrestle great, but If they can't see anything in you that they think that they can market to make money off you, they're not going to use you. It's that simple. Because it's a business.
How much time does it usually take before a new student gets their first match?
That usually depends on the individual. You know what I mean? I mean, I've seen guys train and then... I mean, there's some guys... this guy, Josh Lassard, the hacker, he had, I believe, he trained for, I think, a month.
Wow.
And then he was out there and he was wrestling, and I mean, he didn't know everything he needed to know, but he learned, like I said, you pick things up, you learn on the road, and he learned a lot, and he got really good, and out of our class, he's definitely 100% the best student in there. I mean, he was, he had natural ability and talent, and
he's crazy.
And the gift, so.
What can a student expect to learn at your school, at Neo Wrestling School?
At my school, I'm going to teach you, your basics of wrestling, how to get in, how to wrestle a match, how to not hurt yourself or each other. You know what I mean? You're going to learn how to wrestle, and depending on you, with what we give you, where are you going to take it? You know what I mean? It's just like any other school. If you go to school and the teacher can teach you a lesson, if you don't listen, or if you don't study, or if you don't know what's going on, it's up to you to take the knowledge and apply it to the real world. In this case, it would be up to you to take the knowledge that you're given and to apply it into the ring, right?
So how long did you train before your first match? We were talking about your first match.
Well, like I said before, I had that stint with a trainer who wasn't really a trainer. So before my first match, I want to say I trained about 4 months.
4 months, yeah.
And then I had my first match. But essentially, it took me another 6 or 7 months to wash away all the stuff that I had learned from the other guy.
Okay.
And to start over. So after that, it had probably been... After my first match, it probably was another 8 months or 9 months before I had my second match.
Okay. For anyone who has dreams of getting involved with the business end of professional wrestling, what does it take to run your own wrestling school and promotion?
That's a good question, because I'm trying to figure that out myself right now. There's a lot of independents out there, and and there's some that are successful, but to get to the next level, it can't just be another independent. It's got to be a business. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, having said that, it's just like any other business. If you run it like any other business, you might be around. I mean, look at the WWE. They're a business. Above all, they're not a wrestling show. They're a business. So you have to keep that in mind when you're doing things, right? There's a lot of shows out there that suck, and my name's gonna be on it. I want it to be good.
Yeah.
And I want to think of, when I was young, the best shows I went to ECW, and I mean, those shows blew my mind. You know what I mean? Like, absolutely blew my mind because of the quality of what they were putting on. I mean, looking back at it now, were some of the matches good? Were some of the guys good wrestlers? No. Not really. I mean, you had your Van Dams and your Sabus and your Jerry Lynn's and, your Lance Storms and your Candidos and all those guys, which were awesome. Just those shows, it was the atmosphere of those shows that, to me, that made it good. And that's kind of what we're trying to do, is to get a good atmosphere going to where, it's not just... It's more, to get an atmosphere to get people coming back for more, right?
Yeah.
That's what we're trying to do.
So, Britt, how long have you been training for now?
2 months.
2 months, yeah? What got you into wrestling? Have you been a fan of wrestling for a long time?
I was a fan of wrestling since I was a kid. My dad had Alzheimer's and a bunch of other mental diseases, so that was the only thing we could actually connect on. When he died, I took a break from it for a while. So now that I'm back into it, it's kind of like a little wrestling for him kind of thing. So.
Wow, that's amazing. Now, this is just something that I happen to know for a fact because you told me before, but on your personal journey to becoming a wrestler, it didn't just start with training school. You also, lost some weight?
65, almost 70 pounds now.
Almost 70 pounds. Now, that definitely fits in the bill of what Jesse was saying earlier about you've got to look the part to be a wrestler as well. So I'm thinking that Britt plus 60 pounds wouldn't be running around in the ring with us right now.
I'd be
you
running,
know?
but I'd be a little bit slower and a little bit chunkier.
What did you do to lose the weight?
I went to the gym, had a nutritionist, have a trainer, and they basically whooped my ass. Kind of like what Jess does, but a little bit different.
Are you still working out at the gym, still training?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Nice. So becoming a wrestler is not an easy thing to do. It is a lot of work.
Oh yeah, a lot of cardio. Pretty much that's mostly what I do at the gym now.
All right. Thanks, Brett.
Yep.
It's time for Eric's interview.
All
right. So what got you into wrestling?
Just watch it on TV. It always looked awesome, so I was like, oh, that's what I'm gonna do.
Weren't you an amateur wrestler first?
Yeah, I was.
Tell me a little bit about that.
Like, what about your high school wrestling?
How did you get started with that?
Well, I knew from grade 8 I was gonna do it, so I could get footwork and basic mat technique for pro wrestling.
Oh, so you used amateur wrestling to get into pro wrestling?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. That's a good idea. Now, what are you doing right now to better your journey to become a wrestler?
Whatever just tells me to. Hit the gym when I can, but it's not as often as I should.
And do you eat? What are you eating? Are you trying to eat bulk up? Trying to put some weight on, or what?
Yeah, Danger Boy. He sent me a meal plan, which is like 7,000 calories a day.
Oh my gosh, 7,000 calories. Do you have to wake up in the middle of the night to eat?
Danger Boy's insane.
What kind of diet, eh? Is your boy Danger Boy putting these kids on?
Hey.
That's not mine.
You gotta want it.
You gotta want it, eh?
You gotta want it.
Oh, you.
Anyway, all you gotta do is get in and blast the weights as hard as you can.
That's true.
You start blasting the weights, and then you just start putting on mass, and then you just keep eating.
7,000 calories a day. Yeah. Well, so we have arrived at the school at Fight Club Canada, and it's time to go in.